So, we are back in Shadow of Mordor, this time on my PlayStation 5, because my PC just kept crashing. It crashed about 10 times, so we are starting again, for the first time ever, on a PlayStation. And I'll be completely honest, I am absolutely pumped. Let's get into it, lads. We start off by making Omni-Man proud by beating the absolute crap out of our son. But it's okay, because he's able to channel that childhood trauma into killing the orcs. Together we defend the Black Gate in the pouring rain against the onslaught of orcs. We even team up on this orc beautifully. What a father-son bonding experience. We learn to sneak by giving Talion's wife some flowers, and then it all goes to shit.
Put the sword down, Ranger.
We put the sword down, and the hammer absolutely annihilates us. So Talion gets knocked out. I think he'd rather stay asleep here, but sadly he wakes up just in time to see his wife's throat get slit. The son also gets murdered, and then they slit Talion's throat. You will emerge a shadow. Yes, Talion will. He's trying to bring the spirit of Celebrimbor back into his body, but it jumps on into Talion. You might be thinking, oh, I know Celebrimbor from the Rings of Power series. No. This is badass elven smith warrior Celebrimbor with some crazy spectral powers.
So, we missed one of you at Narcos, eh? An easy mistake to fix.
We get our spirit celestial bow, and these orcs don't stand a chance. We use our new stun ability to completely destroy this orc. My god, I love the slow motion finishers. Celebrimbor then interrogates the orc using his scary spectral face.
I sold him for a keg of grog to kill.
Which leads the orc to tell us information about the slaver that we now need to hunt down. He runs off, and then Talion confirms that he is an orc racist.
If one can trust an orc, trust has nothing to do with it.
I get my first Shadow of Mordor PlayStation trophy, and I'll be honest, this may lead to a slight addiction. We equip the Orc Slayer Epic Rune onto our sword, and we see one of our best friends trying to escape from the slaver camp, and we don't help him for reasons. We track down Gimub to his camp, and the game definitely really wants me to go around and kill each of the archers, setting up a very strategic advantage for my attack. But no, I head straight on in. I don't have time to waste on that. I go for the stealth attack, and it takes off a massive amount of his health.
Another Sroth that needs to be put back in his place.
I love when the orcs chat a massive game, even though I hit him with one stealth attack and it almost killed him. Anyway, 3 more arrows and he is finished. He is done. I have just slayed my first captain, and it earns me another epic rune. We then identify Talion's new best friend, which is Ratbag the Coward. He'll be a big part of the story, trust me. But first, on the way to Ratbag, we decide to free some slaves, and I end up kicking one of them. Oh my god, sir. Are you okay? We finish off the rest of the orcs using the game's pretty epic executions. They just feel so much more brutal and impactful in this game compared to Shadow of War. I turn around to apologize to the slave, but he is already taken off. I come across a little orc camping party, and I try to blow up the fire, but I guess I don't have that ability yet. Definitely feeling very weak right now as Talion. I free the rest of the slaves, and on my way to finding Golem, I end up claiming my first tower, complete with a beautiful view of that lovely statue of Sauron.
There! It's on the run!
I follow the best looking golem in a video game that we have into the cave, and we find an artifact which triggers some memories for Celebrimbor. Golem scuttles away, but not before introducing me to a lovely enemy that might plague this run, the Caragor. The game really wants me to shoot it in the head, but I'm like, nah, I'm going for its big Caragor balls. They don't really seem to exist, but I'm gonna go for them anyway. And I unlock a trophy, probably for shooting him in the balls. Outside, a huge horde of orcs approaches the cave, but they're no match for Talion and his spectral bow. After all the orcs are taken care of, I decide to do a very cool looking confrontation with the Blood Hunter. Just look at how cool he looks with his red, blood-painted followers. What a badass.
Maku.
But because Maku's a keen hunter, he spots me right before I dive on down, and I don't get the stealth attack.
Clear off, you maggot! I wonder which of us will kill you first.
That's true, he's got a very strong gang of lads. Speaking of that, there's one of them right now, just flying his way onto the screen. Thankfully, I'm able to block his finisher, which leads me to getting a massive chain of strikes on Maku the Blood Hunter. One more execution should do it. He's very weak. I go for the knee. I hit him again, but then a spear hits me, and I actually end up getting down from that. One of his blood hunters goes in for the kill, but I'm so delayed and I miss it. Oh my god, I completely missed that.
Your death is the beginning of my rise to power.
The last chances in this game are definitely more difficult than they are in Shadow of War. And thus Booble is born, the Watcher. And he actually looks pretty goddamn badass, so I'm not that upset that he killed me. He may have beaten me, but I'm able to make him slowly spin around like an idiot. So who's really got all the power here? After respawning, I saved some random slaves that I come across, and they actually give me a quest. This is not something I knew that was in the game, but I think it's very, very cool. Let's check out this quest. The slave wants me to go and save his friends, and there they are right there. There's the mission. That is so cool. But before I do that, I've got the best character in the goddamn game that needs rescuing.
Ranger, come close if you want the backhand. Those slave scum are pouring poison in your ear.
I free Ratbag, and he tells me that I need to go and help him kill the Karagor Tamer. Just look at us. The two boys on the road again. On our lovely stroll, we get ambushed.
How did you get free, scum?
And Ratbag immediately betrays me.
Get the ranger, not me. He's a much easier target. Then face me, orcs.
But don't worry, all is forgiven, Ratbag.
Keep out of sight. I'll see that your captain gets demoted.
I head into the fort to look for the captain. I end up executing the first orc that I see, and that kind of just leads me into a bit of a shit show, I'll be honest. I'm not supposed to raise the alarm, but yeah, I end up fighting just half of the fort here, and yeah, things just don't really go well. More and more orcs keep appearing. I'm cutting them down, but at one point one of them makes a break for the alarm. I try to catch up to him, but sadly Talion is very, very slow right now, and yeah, I fail the mission. On the next attempt, I play the mission as it was intended by trying to be stealthy, but that also doesn't really go to plan here, as Talion leaps directly over the guy that I intended to execute. Eventually, I'm able to get the archer. I jump on down because I know exactly where this guy is gonna be, because yeah, like I said at the start of the video, this is not my first rodeo, but he's not here. I kind of thought he would be here. I thought the game would have that programmed in, but I guess not, and yeah. But third time's the charm. I decide to try and do the mission correctly. I grab the guy during the cutscene and he just kind of glitches off the edge.
This looks like a good spot to get some shut-eye. Goroth will kill you if he catches you napping. Goroth never comes here. He's always by the hunting camp.
The shield lads tell me exactly where I need to find the captain. Just gonna check. No, the archer's gone. I sprint my way over to the hunting site, crushing a few spiders along the way. And there he is. Goroth. Oh, this is interesting. The Karagor Tamer has a fear of Karagors. This is gonna be quick. Talion sneaks up and takes a massive chunk out of his torso. He tries to run, fearing for his life. Talion grabs him and hurls him into the fire. He runs around on fire for a bit. Sadly, this doesn't end his life, so then Talion has to take things into his own hands. A swift arrow to the neck puts down the Karagor Tamer for good. Ratbag the coward then claims that he was the one that ended the life of the Tamer and takes the promotion for himself.
Hey! Hey! I need you to take a body back to my tent. I'm gonna get me a trophy.
Get lost.
Last time I did this, I got these gatekeeper orcs that are in a cutscene to unalive Talion to see what they would become. Let's do it again. Last time the guy became a shield master, and he was pretty goddamn cool. Let's see if we can do it again, lads. I just love that in this game you actually can get real orcs from the cutscenes that can just... One of the shield and spear orcs goes in for the kill, but for some reason the game thinks that this is my first time being in this situation and just doesn't let him do it, so... Well, this is awkward. Sorry, mate. But thankfully, it doesn't take long for the other one to weaken Talion down enough. He goes in for the kill, and obviously I let it happen this time.
I'd show you real pain, but you're dying too fast.
Alright, let's see what he's gonna become. Last time, who the hell is that? That is not him. He became like the ogre, he became like fucking Shrek. What? Oh, there we go, he's changed. What the hell was that? That's so funny. Okay, I guess the Watcher increased his power. And he became nothing. Yeah, nothing really happened. We are finally on the way to do that slave mission that I was told about. Obviously, we're gonna grab an intel orc along the way. He shows me this lad. Doesn't look too interesting. I'm sorry, lad, you have to die. The orc was not very interesting. On our way there, we come across your mother's blade just in the soil. What is she doing leaving that there? Of course, along the way, we come across more captains. We've got the Firebrander here. Level 10. Let's see just how tough he is. I do a little bit of sneaking up here, and then I actually decide, you know what? I can't be asked being sneaky. I'm just gonna reveal myself to him right now to see what he says.
You maggot! Come now, let me leave my mark upon you.
Okay, yeah, what he said definitely made sense there. Yep, he's gonna brand me. We'll see about that, lad. Let's see how powerful your level 10 is. And then, of course, another captain comes running in to help.
You won't get away this time, my sweet. Even if you run, I'll be at your back.
Giggles? You're not even giggling! I can't stress enough how much that annoys me. When an orc captain has a certain name, and they don't even live up to that name, I shoot the barrel behind the Firebrander and he just goes up in flames. You would think an orc that's called the Firebrander would be immune to fire. Oh well. Giggles also goes up on fire, but he needs a longer, more painful punishment than that. I haven't heard a single giggle from you all fight, and for that, you need to go. With those two captains now taken care of, I head on over to do the slave mission. I'm sure nothing's gonna get in the way. I go to execute this orc, and I actually find out he's actually a captain. He looks so plain.
I will knock you to your knees. I will smash you.
Finally, we have a captain that lives up to his name. Giggles could take some notes from the Smasher. All he talked about was smashing me. But I'm sorry, Mr. Smasher, you still need to die. I finish him off with some arrows directly into his skull. But right after his body clatters to the floor, I spot my nemesis, the Watcher.
You shouldn't have come here, Ranger. Or have you forgotten I already killed you once?
I hit him with Talion's signature flying knee, which knocks him on his ass. I go in for a quick stab and I reduce him to half health. My nemesis? Is this really him? He doesn't seem like a worthy challenge. At this point, I start getting swarmed by orcs.
I'll be back another time, and you'll be sorry you ever crossed me!
I decide to feed the Nemesis system by letting him go. Maybe he'll come back stronger one day. I make a break for it, and then I finally make it to the slave mission that I was told about so long ago. It appears to be just a simple rescue the slave mission that wants me to use stealth, but I prefer a more direct approach. And with that, I have freed the free folk while not being stealthy at all, and it seems like I have lured the entire fort to my location. There's only one thing that can save me now. With that taken care of, let's go check up on our cutscene shield and spear orc as he tries to make some new friends.
Join me now, or I'll rip you apart, real slow.
Think you're strong? Prove it!
Sorry, Mr. Fleshrender, Talion's feeling like a bit of a protective father here. I shoot and explode the barrel, which lights him up on fire, but this only makes him more angry. I dive on in, but I only knock him to the ground.
You maggot! You intrigue me. How is this possible?
I then get to work putting arrow after arrow into the Fleshrender's skull. I'll be honest, Fleshrender, you didn't quite live up to the hype that the last cutscene shield bearer orc lived up to. He became way cooler. He achieved way more. Despite Talion getting completely swarmed by these orcs, he decides to retreat.
This is Schrock! We will meet again, and I will have my revenge!
The first orc, Mr. President, blocks him. This time, I'm not letting this captain escape. I hit him with one of Talion's signature knees. I quickly throw this orc into him to stop him from running away. I use this distraction to get behind him, grab him, and chuck him off the very, very small ledge. Look at him fly. I actually think they fly better in Shadow of Mordor than they do in Shadow of War. I then challenge myself to see how many orcs I can chuck off the edge before being hit. My record is 5. I track down Golem again as he's hunting for some delicious little ratsies. He leads me on a bit of a scavenger hunt to find Celebrimbor's crown. Is it a crown? I don't really know what this thing is called. And I damn sure I'm not gonna start Googling it. That thing right there. Is it a crown? Is it a tiara? Anyway, a massive amount of ghouls pop out of the ground and proceed to try and rip me to shreds. Luckily, this life or death situation triggers Talion's fight or flight, and he remembers how to use his Ray Flash ability. Definitely something that will come in handy when you're being attacked by 200 ghouls. With the ghouls now taken care of, I proceed to do one of the most satisfying games in Shadow of Mordor, which is to take these towers and unlock a big section of the map. After that mission, I decide to explore around Mordor a little bit. I save this slave. He then gives me a quest to save his brother.
Please help me rescue my brother. He's far too stubborn to work for these orc.
I find some intel about a captain on an orc body. I see another orc that's got intel. Get away from him! He's mine! Oh my god, did I shoot him? Get away from him! Oh, he was so hyped he thought he'd won. He thought he'd beat the Caragor himself. You fool. I do another confrontation, this time Horza the Maniac, who looks like a complete psychopath. I quickly hide behind these sandbags and he runs straight past me. I get the jump on him like an idiot. I lay some arrows into his noggin, weakening him down a very hefty amount. Despite being on the verge of death, he still manages to threaten me.
After I cut you down, I'm gonna feed your carcass to my warriors.
At this point, his berserker boys run in. They give him the old "Get down, Mr. President" treatment. They definitely do make it a lot more difficult for me to kill this guy, constantly attacking me. I can't quite seem to get the finish of all these guys around. I have no choice but to start taking them out. With their numbers thinned down, I'm finally able to finish off the maniac with a pretty badass looking strike. With the blood still warm, I look to make a swift exit.
You maggot! Are you in pain, maggot? Never mind. I can put an end to that.
Alright, why not? I'll take on the assassin. Oh, okay, he's already joined me. Okay. Wait, let's pause it here. This is my first time playing it on PlayStation. I usually play Shadow of Mordor on Xbox or on PC using an Xbox controller. What button do you think I press whenever I see X? You're goddamn right.
Your corpse is another step to victory for Sauron.
As you might imagine, I'm not very happy about what just happened there, so I look to get immediate, sweet, and swift revenge.
Hunting formation, Uruks! Time to earn your dinner!
I struck immediately, creating a massive fireball from this huge barrel. The assassin hates burns, which I definitely knew. Definitely. But when I move in to strike, a Caragor gets there first. The Caragors are running around going crazy right now. I have to put one of them down. It was blocking the way between me and the assassin. Now left alone with the assassin, he's got absolutely no chance against Talion. An enraged Talion, stabbing him on the floor before finishing him off with an execution. The Caragor just watches as his body clatters to the floor. I then finish off the Caragor the only way I know how, by shooting it up its ass 3 times.
Then they shall know.
Wait, no, that didn't kill it! Oh my god! Oh no! Oh, he's got me! Oh no! I'm so slow at this! Oh my god! This goddamn PlayStation controller! I can't believe a Caragor is gonna become a captain. Interestingly enough, the assassin's power increases, and then he dies. That's kind of interesting they showed both. Either way. Oh, we got a duel on our hands here from the Watcher, and he's fled, and he's taken his place. Well done, he's gone. Oh, the other guy came back. Weird. After beating the assassin, I'm on a bit of a hot streak. I decide to take on another confrontation orc. This time, Ashgarn the Crusher. And he does look pretty mean. I mean, he is so goddamn ugly. Too ugly to live, Talion thinks to himself as he jumps on the back of the Crusher. I fire an arrow and it knocks straight into his big ugly mug.
There's plenty more Uruk where I come from, you stupid schrock. They listen for me and obey my call. You're alone.
But I don't care about the other Uruk, Mr. Crusher. I only care about you. And your time in Middle-earth is coming to a swift and abrupt end. I go for the final blow and I get hit during it, which does kind of make it look pretty bad. But anyway, the Crusher is gone.
Manfell! The land of shadows. You should make sure of your kills. Like I'll make sure of you.
Oh my word. The assassin has come back to life. This is the first orc that comes back to life in this playthrough, and my god, does he look interesting. He looks more like a jester now with those cuts on his face. I clear a path to the assassin, but as I go in to deal the blow, he ends up hitting me at the exact same time that I hit him. And he downs me. But this time the quick time event is a triangle, so I get it. But he hits me immediately again and I fall. Another triangle, and I'm alright. I start to focus on the other Uruks. The assassin is definitely getting the better of me here. But when I go to hit him, I get hit in the back with a random spear.
You're not worth the nicks you put my way.
It's my other nemesis, the Watcher. But he ends up humiliating me, which he'll definitely live to regret. I plunge my sword deep into the assassin, and then when I finally think I have him, another Uruk shows up.
You're a coward! Thought you could finish me off by throwing me to my doom, eh? Not so easy! I'm back to finish you off!
This is the craziest the Nemesis system has ever been for me in Shadow of Mordor. 2 orcs, cheating death, at the exact same time. I fire an arrow into the flesh render, and to my surprise, it one-shots him. Then there's nothing left for me to do but to finish off the assassin.
You're fighting a fool's war!
His final speech was a little bit lackluster due to him just being in a bush. And I'm surprised again to see that I can actually gain intel from him before I end his life. You know, might as well. The Ghoul Lover. God, he looks horrible. Everyone say goodbye to the jester-looking assassin. I don't think there's any coming back from this. After taking his hidden power rune, which increases the duration of last chance, I head off in search of more orcs. I come across the fort and I have a cheeky little gander inside. I can see some captains over there, and then I find an old familiar friend, my nemesis.
My lads won't believe you came back from the dead. Not until I show them your severed head again.
But this time I'm not letting him escape. I've come to the realization that I need to make my Talion stronger. I can't have another situation where 2 or 3 orcs are all coming back from the dead and ambushing me at once. I have to start the Uruk purge right here, right now, starting with the Watcher. Goodbye, mate. You know what's about to happen here. It's my favorite type of kill. Look at him, gracefully flying off the edge in slow-mo. Job done. I'm sure we won't be seeing the Watcher again. As soon as I turn around, I find another captain just standing there.
You maggot! Did you hope to sneak by at the cover of darkness, coward?
Crook Liflad. He's pretty basic, and thanks to him I find out that my execution is insanely powerful now. He had more than half health, and I just executed him like that. I jump on down to come face to face with the grinder.
Nothing's gonna save you. Not even a scrap of you.
And I take him out almost immediately. Absolutely buzzing from this, I then decide to go and ruin it by doing a mission that I genuinely have never really liked or enjoyed at all. And that is the Graug Ghoul Cave mission. You can see why I'm not looking forward to it. Graugs in this game are genuinely terrifying. Talion decides to lure the Graug away from the cave by shooting some bait down. I then try to break the game and play it in a completely different way by shooting the Graug in the face to see if he even would come over, but he's completely oblivious to it. A bit like me at 3 in the morning when I see a kebab. I just about make it inside the cave in time and we go in search of more of Celebrimbor's possessions. Celebrimbor finds out that he made the rings for Sauron and that might have been a slight mistake. But ultimately this is fine, because at the end of the day, he's not a little bitch like he is in Rings of Power.
Celebrimbor.
The cave begins to collapse and this leads to Talion learning another one of Celebrimbor's abilities. I just about escape in time before coming face to face with this horrible creature.
And good riddance.
After that, I meet up with my ginger friend. He teaches me about poison herbs, which I then pick and poison the orcs' grog.
No wonder this stuff burns so well.
As you can see, this has a pretty horrible effect on the orcs. After finishing that mission, I smell some delicious orc cooking, so I decide to crash a feast.
Enjoy yourselves, lads! It's feasting time!
And I'll be honest, I'm feeling pretty goddamn good about Talion right now. These orcs are just set up to be completely destroyed. I shoot that barrel, and already this guy is ready to run away. He is ready to be thrown off a small ledge and sprain his ankle really hard. He tries to run, but he's not gonna get away that easily. He runs straight into another explosive barrel, which lights him up. I then drag him over to the small ledge that I was talking about earlier, and there we go. He's airborne, he's flying, he's soaring. Nothing's gonna stop him now, except for the cruel, cruel reality of gravity. I then decide to go and check up on my best pal and my best buddy, Ratbag.
Wait, baby, you call this a duel? No, I call this losing a duel, you glob.
Ratbag's in trouble and I'm not gonna rest until I've put down his bullies. Again, the game wants me to go around and stealth kill all the archers, but I'm not gonna do that. A direct approach is much more my style. I thrive in the chaos. But of course, he's immune to stealth and arrows.
These scum are better than tarks like you, and I will show everyone here how low that is.
You've made a huge mistake here, Brogue. Nobody lays hands on Ratbag and gets away with it. Hitting him on the floor took away half of his health. This fight is over. I use my elven light to clear away the rest of the orcs and then I go in for the interrogation. It reveals the other, bigger twin. Then all that's left is to crush the mind of Brog.
Oh, well, now that's what I call teamwork, eh?
Go before I change my mind.
I free Ratbag, my best friend, and he uses this victory to claim success and climb the orc ranks.
The Mountains of Shadow.
After the fight, I quickly do a little bit of leisurely slave freeing before I go on to face the roided out other twin. Why did Ratbag think that telling the other twin that he killed the original twin was a good idea? His brother. Ah, Ratbag, you and your shenanigans. It's funny that my Talion has been killing orcs constantly this playthrough by throwing them off tiny, tiny ledges. but he somehow thinks that Ratbag will survive this massive fall. I stealthily take out the first orc. I have a look. I have to get rid of 2 berserkers for the roided out twin to show up. Easy pickings when there's an explosive barrel nearby. I shoot the other one just for good measure. And there he is, making his Marvel supervillain entrance.
The pain of my twin shall echo within you.
I shoot the bait above his head, but little do I know that is just put there because he hits and gets enraged by Caragors. Ah, the developers know exactly what they're doing. And then to add to this, the Caragor even starts going for me. They're working together. The Caragor goes for me. He gets enraged and gets crazy strength off just purely hating the Caragors. Anyway, he's not arrow-proof. I fire a few arrows into his head. I go for an execution. Oh, he definitely is stronger than the other captains that I've been dealing with. But he's nowhere near as strong as I am. Look at that. Look how much health I just took off there. He is done.
Fall upon dark.
I slash his blade away and then I pierce his shoulder with my flaming sword. His goopy blood goes everywhere, terrifying the other orcs.
Ratbag is Warchief!
Yes, Ratbag is Warchief. I'm gonna ride his coattails all the way to the top, baby. What an absolute legend. Just look at how nice this trophy looks. Look at that picture. Oh, I need that as an emote for my channel. Speaking of that, I do stream, so check out the link in my description if you want to catch a live stream sometime. Lord and Savior Ratbag then gives me the task to take out every other Warchief. Only he can rule. This leads me to this fortress right here. I take out a few of this Warchief's archers and that lures him directly to me. Gimoob the Shield Master, an orc of few words. I head on over to him and he just immediately runs away. Fear of Caragors, that is not a good fear to have when you're a Warchief in Middle-earth. But I'm not gonna let him get away that easy. You're going down, Mr. Shield Master. And the only way to put him down, in my mind, is to throw him off a very, very small cliff. But as you can see, the game does not want me to take him out this way and forces me to have a wee chat with him first.
Go ahead. Murder me.
Alright, Mr. Shield Master, enough talking. You should have fallen to your death, but I guess this will do. One down, free to go. I grab this random intel orc, inspect his mind, and it reveals another Warchief, the brother. This is such a cool orc. As soon as I come out of that orc's mind, the scholar is there waiting for me, and he definitely regrets not running off sooner. Immediately after, I find another intel orc, and again it gets interrupted, this time by the halfling lover.
Quiet and hidden. That's what they says about you. It's up to me to stop you, yes?
Who also lives to regret taking on Talion. I then go on an absolute tear through the Warchiefs, starting with the Skullcracker. I take out his bodyguard first, to my surprise, just with one stealth attack. That's all it took. Goodbye, Ghoul Lover. You are truly horrifying. All it takes is 2 executions into the Skullcracker, and he is good to lay to rest.
This is but a setback. All men will die beneath Sauron's shadow.
Another Warchief down, and I think it's about time Talion did a bit of recreation. And that is, of course, Talion attending an execution.
Naughty little Uruks. Time for punishment.
I dive on in there, and this fight actually leads to one of the funniest results I've ever seen. I weaken him down, I go to throw him off the edge, because of course I do. But before I do that, he takes a spear directly into the back of his head, and just look at him fly so gracefully. That is brutal. Talion thought that was so much fun, he needs a little bit more recreation before he goes after the remaining Warchiefs. So we decide to go after one of these orcs that actually killed me when I played through the game in my last part, the Flesh Burner. He actually one-shot me in my previous Shadow of Mordor playthrough, but this time it was gonna be different. I'm stronger now, Flesh Burner. Alright, that's enough fun for Talion. Let's get back to the Warchiefs. Oh, I thought he was gonna speak. He's supposed to speak to the skull on his shoulder. That's his brother. Oh, I'm disappointed. I quickly take out his first bodyguard, the surgeon. I then give the brother a little poke. And to my surprise, he goes down pretty easily.
Brother, he has us!
Yes, he's finally talking to the skull like it's his brother. I go for the quick time event, but it's X again, which obviously I mess up. And of course he retreats. I try to clear away the orcs because a small army has appeared, but he does end up getting quite a bit of distance on me. More captains arrive, one of them actually ends up downing me, and he does get away. I escape the area, and on my way out I come across just a random captain hanging out beside a small cliff. I think you know where this is going. After that, Talion picks some flowers and then he goes back to finish off the other bodyguard. Alright, let's try and hunt down the brothers again. I track him down to a fortress again and he seems to have replenished his captains.
I smell the blood of men. Let me bathe in it.
I ignore the blood to aerial stealth kill the final supporter to lure out the brothers. But rather than walking in like a badass, he sort of just does a little jerk.
Man, jump around too much. Stand still and fight. Fancy words, but I am fluent in death.
Another captain shows up and I honestly love his sort of Isengard Uruk style helmet.
I lose this time, but you lose next time.
And of course this guy retreats again. I'm not letting you escape this time, lad. But there is a huge army coming my way here. I try to disperse some of them and he does get a bit of a jog on. He climbs up there. I try to shoot him, but he's invulnerable to ranged. I run around here and then he just sort of drops down in front of me. I don't think his escape plan is really going too well. One Elven Light Blast later and a swift kick and he is down.
Die.
Thankfully, seeing their Warchief beheaded causes all of the orcs to flee in fear. Also, something that I didn't think would happen was that captains actually flee as well, just from seeing their Warchief getting beheaded. I mean, I say that, but I suppose that is quite a horrible thing to witness that would probably make you kind of scared. But I'm not going to let this Isengard helmet-wearing Uruk escape me. He might tell the final Warchief that I'm coming for him. I can't let that happen. I put him down with one of my favorite executions where I kind of make them just sort of fall onto my blade. Very badass. I guess all the noise draws over another captain called the Thunderer.
Ha! I finally caught up with you! I had to cross Mordor is over! Now you die!
Apparently he's been hunting me all across Mordor, but he really isn't prepared. I even finish him off with just throwing knives to add insult to injury. And you guessed it, another captain shows up. This time the blood dude that I avoided earlier. It doesn't go well for him. It is now time to do one of my favorite missions in all of Shadow of Mordor.
Ready to pick that fight?
I follow Higgin, Talion's old friend from the Black Gate days. We track down his cart of blasting powder, clear out the surrounding orcs. Hurrigan's bald, topless men arrive to push the cart. His sketchy lads start to push the cart all the way to the Black Gate, while I secure the area.
Everyone! To the monument!
One final push to the monument. We're knocking it down. I defend the cart from the onslaught of rushing grunts, and then the orcs start using their brain and shooting fire arrows at the cart. I quickly take out the archers, and then Talion manhandles the cart all the way to the foot of the monument. Sauron's monument crashes to the floor, and we have officially committed vandalism. Talion says goodbye to his old Blackgate friend, and then I come across another confrontation. It's time to test out just how strong we're getting. He does look pretty scary, and he's got his gang of red-painted orcs with him.
Mate, Phil! Don't you dare run away from me! I'll chase you all over Mordor!
He throws me off and the fight begins. And I'll be honest, there's not really much that I can do to this onslaught of shield bearers. A random captain also sort of just runs into frame and then pretends like I was the one that was looking for him.
It seems the corpse that walks has found me, just in time to go back into the ground.
This guy's got serious main character syndrome. I continue to get bullied by the two captains and the army of grunts, until I'm finally able to land a pretty hard blow on the Guardian, weakening him down. I'm very weak at this point, so I end up trying to lure everyone over to the cliff edge. This grunt does get the jump on me, but thankfully no X buttons come up in the last stand. The captain then pursues me looking for an easy kill, and he falls right into my trap. I am the king of the small ledges, you fool. It's just that easy, lads. One after another. This is my favorite way to get rid of all the orc captains. But the fun was soon over, as it was time to take on the hammer.
So the local warchiefs did nothing to prevent this sacrilege?
They all perished in battle, my lord. All except me. Warchief Ratbag.
Fortunately, you are still alive. Now, bring me the head of this grave walker.
Claim the head yourself.
The ranger from the Black Gate. Where was your bravery when we bled your wife and gutted your son? Kill him!
Oh, I'm gonna enjoy this. Oh god! Jesus, Hammer, calm down, lad, calm down, lad. I start riddling him with execution strikes. All I have to do is dodge around his attacks, hit the grunts, build up a bit of a hit strike, and then hit the hammer with my execution. This is such a badass execution here, look at this. Sword in his body, goes for the spin around, grabs it, pulls it out of him. He then gets finished off with one of Talion's deadly knees.
How does your vengeance taste, Talion? Is not the darkness sweet?
My goodness, that was cold. Putting away his sword, pulling out his son's blade. My god.
You acted too hastily. There's much we could have learned.
He slaughtered my entire family before my very eyes. What would you have done?
Do you speak with the living? Or only with the dead?
Who are you?
My name is Lothariel, from the Sea of Nurnen. My mother said you would be here. And here you are.
Well, Lothariel from the Sea of Nurnen. You should have stayed where you were. There's nothing here but death.
Lady Marwyn, Queen of the Shore, wishes an audience with you. She has seen visions of your misfortune.
A queen who sees visions.
Visions of the return of the great Celebrimbor. She wishes to make him an offering.
And what is this offering?
That is all I know. I must gather provisions. The return to Nurnen is long and treacherous. My camp is close by. It will be my honor to escort you.